Hello, everybody. This is Teresa coming at you again from Destination Mountaintop with part two of mental well being and our children. We did finish up with part one, and I promised you that I'd be back with part two to speak about how to recognize some of the danger signs that are going on with our kids and mental well being. As we discussed in part one, it is very important to pay attention to what's going on with our babies, how things are affecting them, how things that we as adults consider as traumatic experiences, things that will shut us down, that we can't ignore that and think that just because they're kids that this will not bother them, that time brings about a healing, that they forget about it, because they don't. We have to learn how to communicate with our children. We have to learn how to um, teach our kids to express their feelings, to recognize their feelings, give them tools to be able to express how they're feeling so it can be a positive transition instead of a negative transition. We don't want to mentally stun, not mentally, but emotionally stun our kids. They're growing in age, they're growing in size, but emotionally, they are stuck at a certain age because they haven't developed that. They haven't developed the ability to recognize what they're feeling and how to express it. They haven't learned how to effectively convey and communicate what they're feeling. They haven't been taught how to deal with grief, how to deal with anger, how to deal with loss, uh, things that affect us as adults. And like I said in the first video, if you just sit back and think about how you were raised and a lot of the issues that you have is because of things that you went through when you were young. Not saying that our parents didn't do the best they could, but that's what they did. They worked with the knowledge that they had. But we have more knowledge. We have more information. Everything we want is readily at our fingertips. We can Google it. We can go on YouTube. There are plenty of professionals. Things are not that taboo anymore. Just like pregnancy and there used to be a time when we were taught to cherish our bodies and to be a virgin when we got married. When is the last time you heard a parent, really sit down and explain to their kids how precious your body is and why you should try to hold on to your virginity? That is something special that you want to share with the man or the woman that you're going to be married to for the rest of your life. But we treat everything now as a shake and go, as an instant. We go into marriage with the idea of, well, if it doesn't work out. We go into a relationship with a man or woman, well, if it doesn't work out. We go into school, into jobs, into everything that we do. Mostly our attitude consists of, well, if it doesn't work out. But we should be going into things with the attitude of, this is going to work. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take dedication. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. But I'm in here and I'm in it to win it. When you go in with already a plan B, you're already saying it's not going to work. And then we raise our kids that way. We raise our kids, they see us married, but with the boyfriend on the side or the girlfriend on the side. You think when you're driving up, speaking to that boyfriend or that girlfriend, or hugging them or kissing them, and the words you say, but the kids are in the back seat, you think because they're small that they don't know what you're doing? that they don't know that this is on a sneak tip, that um you are supposed to be with their mom or dad, but here you are sneaking around with Uncle Joe and Aunt Sue. You think they don't see that and don't recognize that? They do. So we had to be careful, and we had to be more prudent about what we expose our kids to and about dealing with their sensitivity. This is so important that this can cause uh, a kid to go through depression, persistent sadness for 2 or more weeks. That kid is just down and depressed. It goes through, it can make them withdraw where they don't want to be around the rest of the family. They don't want to go to social outings anymore. They don't want to go to Chuck E. Cheese. They don't want to do this or do that. Everyone would be in the living room, or you know how kids all pile up in your bed, but all of a sudden that one starts to ease off. And where's Mac at? Oh, he's in the room. Where's Jane at? She's in the room. All of a sudden they are staying by themselves a lot. They want to be secluded a lot. It will cause them, you have kids that hurt themselves. They will start cutting themselves. That's a big thing among youth, to cut themselves, uh, especially cut themselves with razor blades, with knives. You need to keep a eye on your kids, especially preteens and teenagers. Look for those unexplained cuts on the legs, or if they're suddenly wearing long sleeves all the time, or things like that. They may be cutting themselves, and when they can express those feelings, they'll start doing things to hurt themselves. Drug use, alcohol use, uh, uh, putting themselves in situations where they can become hurt physically, um, putting themselves in dangerous situations. So you have to watch stuff like that. It can cause kids to start talking about death and suicide. And that's something that really needs to be taken seriously. Uh, Here in the last 3 years, there's been a lot of kids, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, killing themselves because of bullying, because of grades, because of not feeling like they fit in, because of not having the ability to express themselves. And then we hear on the news, or we see these specials where these kids have literally, why would a little kid kill themselves? But kids understand more than you think. They do understand that death is final. They do understand that they're taking their own life. But what is wrong when a kid is so hurt that they rather die than keep living this life? It gets that serious. They will go through, just like our changes of personality. All of a sudden, they start having outbursts. They start. They irritated by everything. They bust out over the smallest thing, and they're crying hysterically. They're fighting. They're yelling at the teacher, but that's because a lot of times at home, shut up, shut up. I don't want to hear your mouth. Shut up. They may be trying to talk to you, but it's irritating you. So you're always, shut up. Nobody wants to hear that. You're stupid. You're this, you're that. Shut up. You're always complaining. You always you just full of drama. But that kid is trying to express themselves. Then you start getting phone calls. They're throwing chairs around the classroom. They're trying to fight the teacher. They're fighting the principal. They're fighting on the yard. They're just so out of control. And when you get there, then they're sitting there stoic and quiet, and they can't explain. Those are signs that something is going on. And then you have the out of control behavior. They're running away. They're cussing you out. They're bucking up and trying to fight you. They're tearing up the house. They're doing all manner of things, all kind of things. Those are signs that something is going on. I remember I lived across the street um, from this family where this little boy, I watched him all summer, little teenager, preteen, 14, 13. Um, every time he would get into a fight, he'd walk around that yard, he'd run up and down the street, but every time he'd get into a fight, he'd run in the house and go grab his dad's gun. And I remember one day he's out there fighting and he runs in there and gets the gun and the dad picks him up and literally throws him back in the house. And then I moved out the neighborhood, and about 2 years later, this same kid shot another kid. Um, from what I understand, it wasn't his intent to shoot the kid or kill the kid, but he shot at the ground. And the bullet, from the way I understand it, the way I was told the story, the bullet ricocheted up, shot the other young man in the leg, and he bled out and died. But now you have two lives gone. But the warning signs were there. The warning signs were there, but everybody is always so caught up in their own drama that sometimes they miss the warning signs. Um, and those are some of the big uh, uh, warning signs as to when your child's mental well-being um, is in trouble. Bear with me one moment here. When your child all of a sudden is um, their eating habit changes, they're not eating, don't have an appetite, or they're eating too much, all of a sudden they can't get full, they're eating everything. You sit up and start hollering, you're fat, you're a pig, you're this, you're that. You better watch that. And a lot of these signs, if you look up any type of abuse or any type of depression or anything, a lot of these signs intermingle. When kids are molested, they will either not eat enough or they'll start eating. And it's a way of, if I get fat, that person won't pay attention to me, or they can't express it just like we do. We do it. We get depressed, we get break up, and what do? We start eating ice cream and zuzus and wham whams, and we're eating all this stuff, trying to stuff that down. And you're grown, and you can't express your feelings. So you're going out getting drunk, you go on a sex spree, you're getting high all the time, or you're eating up everything in the house and just sitting up getting big as a house because you're trying to deal with your feelings. Uh, and I'm equate this to church like I do everything at church. One of the things when you don't have a balanced life, I see young women sit in the church, and women who are you have women who have balanced lives, but then you have women who are either highly sexual and they dress sexual, they act sexual, they flirt with everybody for attention, or you have these young women with 50 kids and they're just big as a house. But they saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, fire baptized. They don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do this, they don't do that, but they don't wear pants, they don't comb their hair, they don't put on makeup, anything, but they sit around and they get big as a house because they have no balance. It's church or nothing at all. They're not taught to express themselves. They're not taught how to deal with stress. They're not taught how to live this life to the fullest. It's just Jesus, 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 Jesus. But then with the Jesus, it's used as a whipping tool and it's used to keep you in bondage instead of having life and life more abundantly. We have to get off this hamster wheel of abuse. And then we sit and we got our kids there and they're seeing all this stuff too. They're seeing the shouting and the dancing and the this and the that, but they're sitting there quietly. They hear you gossiping. They see how you treat each other. They hear how you talk about each other. They hear how you backbite. They see their moms cry. They see their dads depressed because of the abuse that goes on in the church and what we do to each other in the name of God. And then you wonder why kids grow up and don't want to go to church, don't believe in God, get fighting mad if you bring up religion because of this crap that we're surrounding them with. And nobody talks about it. So then when we finally break, when it's just too much, and then we go to the next extreme, we go from holiness to hoishness. Now you're just out there because there was no balance. We have to stop this. We have to break the cycle. Everybody wants to talk about breaking generational curses. This is how you break generational curses. You get in there from the root, you deal with the truth, and you put the work in there. But what we're doing is not, yes, Jesus can do it all. We can do all things through Christ that strengthen us. But it's more than a hope, a dream, a prayer to get things done. You're sitting up hollering, help me, Jesus, but you're not willing to put the work in. And Jesus is saying, I've given you the keys to the kingdom and all of the tools to live this life, but you won't do it. You want to be a generational curse breaker in your family? Get yourself educated. Start living responsibly. Start communicating. Start being that example. Start being the one that will say, no, this is wrong, and we're not going to continue this cycle. No, what you're doing is hurting these kids, and we're not going to continue this cycle. I hope I'm saying this in a way where you can, where it's sinking in. Um, Difficulty sleeping. All of a sudden you're up at night because either the kid can't sleep at night or they sleeping all the time. Depression. There's signs of depression. Their grades were good. Now all of a sudden the grades are just plunging. And you, well, what's going on? Why are you not doing your work at school? This and that. That's a sign. Baby, what? Okay, let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's go have some me and you time. And I find that with my kids, with my little ones, the little great grands and this and that, I don't get excited with them when I'm asking questions or I feel like something's going on. I ask the question, but I go ahead and I keep washing dishes or I keep sewing or I keep doing whatever I'm doing and I hear what they're saying and they will give you the answers. But instead of, oh my God, what? It's like, oh, really? That happened? Well, how did that make you feel? And what happened? And okay, now explain to me so and so and so. But I won't turn around and look at them. Because if I was to turn around and look at them or show too much attention or be confrontational, what are they going to do? They're going to shut down. When you make it casual, when you make it matter of factly, kids will always answer you and they'll tell you the truth. What you say, somebody's always picking on you and they always doing this and doing that. But I know that you pick on folks too, so what about you? Oh, okay. It's a way that you talk to them. Well, my granddaughter, my great grand, she come in one day and she wanted some attention because I had the little baby. Uh, yeah, my friend, she kept hitting me, but at my school, if hitting people, they come up and they hug you and this and that. But the way that she was explaining everything was from a victim standpoint of view. Everybody's always picking on me. Nobody gives me attention. They don't hug me. They don't do this. They don't. Oh, she was drawing this big dramatic picture. So then in the end, I let her get it all out. And then I started questioning. So, oh, did you get in trouble? Did you hit? Did you do this? How did that make you feel? Oh, so you understand how she felt. Oh, when your teacher brought you to the car, she hugged you and said, have a good day. So why you say you never? I just questioned and talked. And then she looked at me and I looked at her and I started laughing. I said, oh, you want some attention today? Granny love you. She come, did you eat breakfast? It's 11 o'clock. No, ma'am. Okay, so you left your mom's house and she brought you here and dropped you off, but it's 11 o'clock and she didn't feed you? Well, she fed my brothers. Oh, so you're telling me that your mom fed them and she made you watch them eat, but she didn't fix you anything? What did you eat? Oh, I had some cereal. And then she looked at me and smiled. Kids are so smart. Now, if I didn't know how she was, and I didn't know her imagination, she would have me thinking that she's being mistreated and picked on in school and bullied. She would have me thinking that her mom treats her differently than she treats her brothers and that they're misusing her and leaving her out. But you have to listen. If you listen, not listen with an answer, but listen, reading between the lines, you will find out what's really going on. And the whole thing is Maya wanted attention. So I had to give Maya some personal attention after I put the baby to sleep. Okay, come on, let's read a book, let's do this, let's do that. You want to help Granny cook, you want to help Granny do this or that. Then when she had my personal attention, she was happy. These are the kind of things we have to do with little kids. We have to notice our kids. We have to notice when their personality changes. We have to notice when they getting a little down. We have to notice when they keep saying something specifically over and over again. We have to notice when they start having nightmares and night terrors, and all of a sudden they want to sleep with you. We have to notice when they all of a sudden revert back to peeing in the bed when they haven't had that issue. We have to notice when they start acting out inappropriately, sexually, some things that they should not know at all, some things that no 6-year-old, 4-year old, 3-year old are saying things that that they is more than show me yours, I'll show you mine. It's sexually explicit. But if you're not paying attention, you won't see those warning signs. We have to know when it's just a cry for attention. And we have to know when it's beyond us. Okay, this is getting a little too much right here, and I don't know what to do. And beating is not going to fix this. Fussing is not going to fix this. This is beyond punishment. This is some serious things going on here. My child is in trouble. We have to know when to call that school, talk to that teacher, talk with that principal. Get when Maya was acting out, trying to act like she was just crazy. Oh, it was all because she needed some attention from her mom. And a lot of things were crazy in her life and in the family. I had to pull everybody in there: mom, dad, stepmom, teacher, principal, and we all had to get on the same page and be consistent. Had to whoop that behind too. But after 2 days of getting that behind whoop, because you're clowning at that school, and after talking, and after coddling, and after, no, she's not going to be on any medication because acting out ADHD is not sporadic. Is not with some people. Oh, so the only place she want to act silly is at school. She don't do it with me. She don't do it with her dad. She doesn't do it with her mom. She doesn't do it at auntie, but she does it with this particular teacher, and she does it with another family member. But both those people tend to, oh, poor Maya, and let her kind of just get away with things when we got everybody on the same page. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're lovely, we love you, but we're not going to tolerate this, we're not going to tolerate that. When that punishment went across the board from my house to dad house to mom house, when everybody threatened, if you do this again, you're going to get your butt whooped. She heard it from everybody. I guarantee you, I took her to the doctor. Take her off this medicine. Explain to them, communicated, open my mouth. And the doctor say, you're right, this is not ADHD. I said, now, if this was ADHD, we've sat here 15 minutes. Is she bouncing off the walls? Is she do? She said, no, she been sitting there like the perfect child. And kids that have really ADHD can't do that. Have I had to fuss at her, yell at her, anything? No, ma'am. She came off that medicine that day, and we have not had another act out at school again. Not one. But we got in there, we talked, we babied, we whooped, we fussed, we put our heads together, tried to figure out what was going on. We had to limit time spent at a couple of locations because we noticed that when she'd come home from over certain places that she would act out. Oh, okay. But we got together and we openly communicated, and then we dealt with the issue, and then we were still firm and disciplinarians. Haven't had an issue since. Have not had an issue. So it's not just knowing the signs, but then it's putting something in plan, not in place, not being scared to ask for help, not bringing the family together, not forming a team to get that child back on track. So with that, um, I'm going to end this one because we went long. We're at 29 minutes. Um, I may come, it might end up being a part four, but I may, when I do part three, there are a couple of other issues that I want to talk to you about with warning signs. And with that one, I'm going to close this out. I want to thank you once again for joining me at Destination Mountaintop. My name is Teresa Graham. I'm your motivational speaker and your life skills coach. And when I say life skills, that means that I can give you little skills, tips, and tricks to help put your life back on track, and to get going in your purpose and destiny and to change the trajectory back to where it's supposed to be. And I love you. Have a great day. Remember who you are and remember whose you are. And as always, faith, belief, forward motion.